One of two Scottish League Cup semi-finals due to be staged at Hampden on the same day could now be moved after organisers reported a game-changing shift from stadium bosses. The Scottish Professional Football League (SPFL) confirmed it was in discussions over moving one of the matches originally scheduled for Hampden on October 28 to an alternative venue. The Hearts-Celtic encounter could now be switched to BT Murrayfield in Edinburgh. The announcement came shortly after Police Scotland called for fresh talks over the SPFL's controversial plan to stage Aberdeen Rangers at 1200 and the other tie at 7:45 p.m. on the same Sunday, which was their solution to a problem posed by both Glasgow clubs' Europa League commitments. The original plan was heavily criticised for its lack of thought for fans by Aberdeen and Hearts, whose owner Anne Budge stated that Celtic and Rangers were also opposed to the idea. Politicians and transport bosses also hit out at football authorities. Trophy, SPFL in discussions around. Full statement https://t.co/fsccrrrwnc.twitter.com/h8dbcmiski, SPFL, @SPFL, October 2, 2018. SPFL Chief Executive Neil Doncaster said, "After the draw, we spoke to Hampden Park Limited to ask whether they would release us from a contractual obligation to host all semi-finals involving the old firm at Hampden. They declined our request and we were unwilling to breach this contract and risk legal action. However, I'm pleased to report that we have been contacted this morning by SFA Chief Executive Ian Maxwell, who said that Hampden Park Limited has now reconsidered that position and have agreed to waive that legal obligation. This is clearly extremely welcome news. We immediately contacted Police Scotland and informed them of this development, and this has enabled us to open talks to explore whether the match could be staged at an alternative venue in the timescales available," Mr. Doncaster added. Whilst we received firm assurances from both Hampden Park Limited and Police Scotland that they were able to host both games on the same day, today's very welcome call is a potential game changer. Everyone recognizes that it would be better if we can hold these matches in separate stadia, and the fact that we're now able to explore that option is great news. We will now discuss with a number of parties, including the SFA, Police Scotland and the clubs involved before reaching a definitive position, which we will announce as soon as possible to enable fans to make the necessary travel arrangements. Hampden Park Limited is the company set up by the SFA to run the stadium, which is still owned by Queen's Park ahead of a planned sale to the governing body. Police Scotland had initially approved the plan, but Assistant Chief Constable Bernard Higgins called for further talks with the SPFL on Tuesday after Police Federation officials came out strongly against the proposal. He said, "As a responsible organisation and taking into account these public concerns, I think it's sensible to discuss the issues raised with the SPFL and other stakeholders, and I have asked the SPFL to look again at the transport plan so we can make a full public safety assessment." Statement from ACC. Bernard Higgins, "We're aware of issues and concerns that have been raised over the last few days about the date and venue of the League Cup semi-finals." Police Scotland, @Police Scotland, October 2, 2018. Earlier on Tuesday, politicians had criticised football authorities in a Holyrood debate, accusing them of treating fans with contempt. Scotland's Sport Minister Joe Fitzpatrick said a review of the plans would be welcomed. He said, "While the scheduling of matches is a matter for the football authorities, we recognise there is anger, particularly among supporters who are travelling from Aberdeen and Edinburgh." The Scottish Government, Transport Scotland and ScoTrail were not consulted ahead of the SPFL announcement.